All right, good morning and happy Monday. So we're going to start by looking at this particular excerpt just real quick from this book, We Should Hang Out Sometime, which is an embarrassingly true story by Josh Sundquist. It is a memoir, so I'm just going to read a little bit of it to you for the purpose of paying attention to the dialogue. So if you will, follow along with me. Again, the not so distant past. This is the very beginning of the book. When I was 25 years old, it came to my attention that I had never had a girlfriend. At the time, I was actually under the impression that I was in a relationship, so as you can imagine, this bit of news came as something as a shock. I answered the call outside on the sidewalk. You always remember exactly where you were when you found out your girlfriend has a boyfriend who isn't you. It was my friend Dan. Listen, no one else wanted to be the one to tell you this. All right. I'm really sorry. Okay. Charlotte has a boyfriend. He blurted it out as this one continuous word. Right, I know. I'm her boyfriend. There was a pause. Right? I asked. It's not you. Oh, was all I managed. I half expected him to follow up. It's not you with it's me. That being the official phrase of breakup talks. But it wasn't him either. It was some random toolbag she met at her college. I ended the conversation as quickly as I could, and then I stood there on the sidewalk as if I were one of those time-lapse shots in a movie. Cars and people whizzing by on all sides of me. How could she do this to me? Why didn't she at least have the courtesy to call and tell me herself? In retrospect, we had never actually defined the relationship. She had never actually said that she was my girlfriend. I had just sort of, assumed she was. As it turned out, my assumption was completely, totally, painfully wrong. I had always wondered how it would feel to have a girlfriend, to know that a certain girl likes me and that I liked her, but every time I tried to date a girl, something would go wrong. And now there I was, 25 years old, and I still had never had a girlfriend. Maybe the problem was with me, the package. Maybe girls just weren't attracted to me. Maybe I wasn't funny enough or confident enough. Maybe it was just that I looked different from everyone else. Maybe girls don't want to be seen holding hands with me in public. Didn't want to bring a person who looked like me home to meet their parents. Something had to be wrong with me, though even though I didn't know what it was, I wanted to know. I had to know. So after my call with Dan, feeling so fed up with my years of searching and failing to find a girlfriend, I decided to conduct a scientific investigation. You see, I've always been pretty good at things like math and science, in the realms of rational, linear analysis. And so this is the very beginning of the book, and he goes on, and he's older, and he's looking back. In chapter 3, he goes into a flashback. So this is a flashback when he was probably young, about 14 or 15. So let's see how this works. Both my parents are wire-frame skinny. My mom because she's a raw vegan, and my dad because he's married to one. As men grow old, the waistline of their pants tends to sink down beneath an expanding gut, or, if they stay thin, their pants creep up on their chest. I'm confident my dad will fall into the second group, eventually turning torso-less, just a gray-headed and beanpole arms popping out of a pair of wool trousers hiked up to his armpits like a strapless dress. But I digress. The point is that as extremely conservative people, my parents want everything to stay the same, or even better, to return to the way things used to be. So I learned at a young age, if you need to persuade them of something, one technique is to frame your argument around the idea that you are making a case for these values. I made my opening statement the next Sunday while we were driving home from church in our minivan. Mom and Dad were up front. My 9-year-old brother Matthew was beside me on the way back, and in the middle sat my 5-year-old brother Luke, and a car seat containing our newly arrived baby sister Anna. So, we've always been friends with the Stevens family, I asked my parents. I paused to allow them to mentally confirm that yes, we had indeed always been friends with the Stevensons. In fact, Mom and Dad would no doubt be remembering that the Stevensons had been in our homeschool group for a year when Mrs. Stevens homeschooled Sarah. And as I said before, Sarah's brother Jim had shaved his head for me when I had cancer. Now, he and I were in the same Boy Scout troop. Dad and Mr. Stevens were tennis partners, so obviously this is how things had always been. Yeah, said Dad in a tone that said, I know you're trying to set us up here, I just haven't figured out how yet. Well, I thought of a great idea to ensure that our families remain close, I said in my best mature young man voice. What's that? Dad asked. I should go out with Sarah. Go out with her where? Asked Mom. Well, we wouldn't go anywhere, I said. We would just boyfriend and girlfriend? You mean like go steady? Asked Dad. I don't know what that means, I answered. That's when you stop dating multiple people and date just one girl, said Dad. Why would you be dating multiple people at the same time? I asked. You know, like maybe you take Betty Sue out on a Friday and take Barbara out on a Saturday, and then you decide you want to only go out with Barbara, he said. So you're cheating on Betty Sue? No, no, I said. Dad stammered. Well, then you're cheating on Barbara. No, you're dating both of them. At the same time? Do they know about each other? I asked, confused. Yes, no. I mean, maybe they do. It doesn't matter, not unless you're going steady with one of them, which means you aren't dating anyone else. Okay, well, people don't do that anymore, I said. Now, you only go out with one person. No one dates more than one person at the same time. Said Dad. It was not lost on me that the subject had been changed. So anyways, can I date Sarah? We'll have to think about it, said Mom in her go-to phrase for a soft, kind-hearted no. All right, well, just so you know, she likes me and wants to go out with me, so if I'm not allowed to go out with her, that might make our friendship with the Stevensons family kind of awkward, I said. The friendship that we've always had, I could have added. But by the way Mom and Dad glanced worriedly at each other, I could tell that they'd already scored a direct hit on their conservative fears. In the coming weeks, additional rules and boundaries were set up for my protection. No touching, other than hugging, which had to be brief. No lingering. No seeing her without adult supervision. Not more than 20 minutes on the phone per day. Yeah, fine, whatever. I agreed to each of their stipulations with all the thought and care I had put into reading an update into the iTunes user agreement terms and conditions. So what I want to say about this is that we have some dialogue here. In the beginning, we have a phone call that sets up and establishes the problem. So the author's not just telling us the problem, that this guy's like 25 years old and has never been able to get a girlfriend. The phone call helps propel us into that issue. Then later on in chapter 3, he even develops this problem furthermore, showing us conversations between his parents and himself about how they've even become kind of like a blockade to his ability to be able to date. So this conversation between the mom and the dad and him is definitely moving the plot forward, but also giving us a sense of the relationship between the characters. So I wanted to start with this because I just wanted to give you an idea of what dialogue can do without naming it just yet. So we're going to move on.